You are now tuning in to Kickspot with Jinu Park and Migs.
And we're back here at the Kickspot.
Way to ruin it, Peter.
I thought you
Man, yeah. Is that what we were doing? No, we didn't prep him.
Yeah.
What type of shit were you guys running here?
And we're back. We're excited. Another episode. Thank you for your patience. I know it's been since March, since our last episode with Just Jet. Great episode. But today, we've got a special topic to talk about. Kind of exciting. There's a reason why you want to come over here a little bit, just so you can see. He's wearing this jersey right here. And we brought one of our really, really good friends, family, onto the show to talk about some basketball. But before I introduce this guy, the playoffs have been really good. The NBA playoffs have been really good, y'all, and that's what we're going to talk about. But let me introduce one of my brothers, one of my good friends, one of my besties for the resties, Peter Rosenberg. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I know. We've been trying to do this. We've been trying to do this. We argue a lot. I argue a lot about these two.
We don't argue, we debate.
Debate, sorry.
We have passionate conversations.
It's more mature.
Yeah. Obviously, as you guys can tell, these two are Laker fans. More so with Detroit, because from Detroit.
Truly Pistons, but I've been in LA since 2008, so it would be hard not to be.
Yeah.
And the other choice would be to root for the Clippers, and I just love myself too much for that.
I don't care what they fucking say. Okay, I'm the Clipper fan of the group. Okay, and I'll gladly take on the role. All right, there's always next year. Okay, for us. Okay,
that's what you say every year.
Shut up. Anyways, we're not talking about my team right now. We're gonna talk.
There's nothing to talk about.
Well, we're gonna talk about them a little bit. But we're gonna talk about just this year's NBA playoffs. Has been great. We're all gonna share our thoughts about it. Also, we would love to hear from you guys what you guys thoughts about it on the comments. But yeah, let's get it started. We got the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference. Right now, I ain't gonna lie. I'm actually really proud of the Lakers and how they've advanced. Coming in at on the play-in and then Western Conference Finals. So I want to get these two's perspective on your Lakers right now on the road to a possible title. So who wants to start?
Yeah, they're going to be playing against the Nuggets. If I had to rewind, I actually, sadly to say, didn't have the Lakers actually getting into the Western Conference Finals, to be quite honest.
I didn't think so either.
I actually had the Suns going in there.
Yep.
And I don't know if majority of people thought the same thing, but I thought the Suns and the Nuggets were probably going to play, or just the Suns in general, to get in. But I'm very surprised. But I think looking at the Lakers roster and looking at the bench, I think they've got a tremendous bench right now compared to a lot of the other teams, and I think that's what's getting them to go forward. Starting off with Rui coming in.
Oh, man, great pickup, y'all.
I think that tricked everybody.
Pickup.
We needed some height. We needed some shooters as well too, and so I think that tricked everybody. How are they going to defensively play against someone like Rui? And then we got some added pieces to the Lakers, and I think that's really what set the Lakers into getting to the Western Conference Finals. But honestly, just thought that the Suns were going to actually make it, so I'm glad.
It was hard not to think with, the way Booker was playing, Durant is fucking Durant. And Chris Paul, up until a few weeks ago, looked like he was the core general. So it was, I think everybody was thinking, once they picked up Durant, this is going to be fucking scary. And I'll be the first to say, I'm not like the biggest Rob Pelinka fan. But what he did at the trade deadline was pretty masterful. He brought in a lot of length. He brought in a lot of defense.
Vanderbilt, that was a big pickup.
Vanderbilt, huge. And I think that after the All-Star break, tied for the best record at like 21-7, and then also had the best defensive efficiency in the league after. And I think they've also had that throughout the playoffs too. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure on Anthony Davis to be like this offensive monster because he's 7-something and has all the tools in the bag, but Fact is, this guy is rebounding the ball like something we haven't seen in a really long time on both ends of the court. So I feel like if he takes care of that, gets his shots, obviously they're not all going to go in, but as long as he keeps shooting and rebounding the way that he does, it's going to be really, really tough. Oh, and also, it's a block party every time the opponents come in.
Average about
paint.
3 per game.
Yeah.
Leading the playoffs in blocks, yes.
And also, let's not forget that we've got LeBron James, King James, in his 20th season at 38, 39 years old, averaging 30 points. Like, that's something, that's something that we've never seen. And also, sleeper star is whenever D'Angelo Russell scores 16 points or more, the Lakers win. Mm-hmm. So if he starts off hot and, he gets, let's say, 8 points in the first half and goes into the halftime with that confidence and comes back out shooting, there's just too many weapons on the court for them to stop. And then you've got Austin Reeves, who's like in and out, but for some reason making those shots when he needs to.
Can we be real? That guy's a dog. Like, he's a fucking dog, bro. And he's got his IQ surprised me. I think he's got more game than I think what we all thought. Right? I mean, I'm not necessarily a Laker fan, but I can appreciate the players that they picked up and the road to the Western Conference finals, because in addition to add to what you were saying, I just feel like the Lakers, second to the Nuggets, probably have the deepest bench out of anyone that was in the playoffs this year on the West. I mean, I thought the Clippers had a pretty deep bench. Sacramento's bench was okay. Phoenix got exposed against the Clippers for not having bench scoring at all. Yeah.
Well, they got rid of all of their bench to be able to get Durant.
To be able to get KD, right? And then, but I think this is, maybe an unpopular opinion. The Nuggets just have too much firepower for the Lakers to have a chance to get to the finals. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying is matchups alone, Jokic, AD, right? LeBron, Aaron Gordon. I mean, that's probably a LeBron that wins that matchup. But KCP against Austin Reeves, D'Lo versus Jamal Murray. Like, and then they just have I just feel like they have a better bench. I just feel like Denver has a better bench than the Lakers. I know you guys fucking disagree.
I'm not going to say I disagree. I mean, I think the Nuggets have been proving how strong of a team they are, especially against like all of the doubters over the last few years. That they have what it takes. Obviously, time will tell, but you also have to remember they have the biggest home court advantage in the NBA. It's mile high. Right now, LeBron is practicing with a fucking gas mask on his face, so he can deal with the altitude there. It's it's joked about, but in reality, dude, when you're pushing yourself to 100% exertion and you're not getting as much oxygen in your lungs as you're used to, you get tired a lot more tired, a lot faster than you would think. So
let me ask both of y'all. Give me your, I guess, who failed the worst as far as the 8 teams that got in the playoffs on the West, and who's the biggest surprise? The biggest failure and the biggest surprise. Okay. Let me start with Jinu. Who do you think? Biggest failure, biggest team failure?
Biggest failure is Clippers, definitely. No, I'm just playing.
You're telling me because, I'm kidding. No PG, no Kawhi? Really? Come on.
I mean, if that had happened during the playoffs that you guys lost them, then I would agree, but you guys went in like... Yeah.
And then the Russ pickup was crucial. Just want shout out to Russ. Like he gave us a fair shot. So
I love Russ. I do.
I mean, anybody in the top 4 that came in, I mean that probably was surprising to everybody. I mean,
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Memphis.
But I think for me personally, it's Golden State.
You're talking about the biggest failure in the West?
Yeah, I think it's Golden State for me.
Why?
Just because of all the hype that Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry is probably the best point guard and shooter in NBA history, in my opinion. But just to be around that organization and they've had a continuous reign of success. To me, I think that would be the biggest failure to me. Just because of all the knowledge that they've been able to gain and
the championship experience.
The championship experience, like they were there and they've been there consistently. But I think the Lakers honestly were able to adjust to guarding Steph Curry, which was pretty interesting to see, and it wasn't just a few players that were guarding Steph. I mean, even he had AD step up to try to guard, and that was different. I think that was really mentally different for Steph because they were probably expecting a few other guards to be able to guard him the entire series, which was working. But Lakers just kind of manipulated in Game 4, Game 5. They just had different people, and Steph was like, whoa, this is a little too much. But I think just based on their experience and knowledge and being there, I think that one.
That's the biggest flop. So it's the biggest surprise on a positive note. What team?
I mean, it got to be Lakers. It got to be Lakers. I didn't have them winning.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I would say that the biggest failure is probably the Suns. They tried. It was a win now mentality when they got Kevin Durant. They got rid of Mikal Bridges, who ended up fucking balling in Brooklyn and getting that team to the playoffs. With
Didn't do anything. Got swept, but just want to throw it out.
I mean, that's cool and all, but like, what was that? That team wasn't going to be in the playoffs with Durant and Kyrie on it before the trade.
Yeah, they were.
Come on.
Yeah, they're that good. Kyrie and
they were what, like the 6th or 7th seed when they
they're a bunch of drama queens. So
let's see. Kyrie went to go play with one of the other top 10 players in the league, Luka, and they didn't make the fucking playoffs. We'll get into Kyrie later. That's not what we're talking about. I think the Suns have to be the biggest disappointment because you bring in this player that's supposed to like push you over the edge, and they really just looked like lost against that Denver Nuggets team.
So who's your biggest surprise?
I mean, biggest surprise has to is the Lakers. I mean, the fact that they started the season off like 2-10, like just squeaked into the play-in, and then I mean that's what LeBron does. It's like you give me a chance, and I'm going to make the most of it, and you know that this is the time of year when he really like. He's got an extra gear that like nobody else has. And it's not just physically, it's mentally. You know, the guy's played the most fucking playoff games ever, you know? And the only way you play that many playoff games is if you keep winning them, you know? But yeah, I think that people didn't necessarily think that they were going to beat Memphis with the way that Memphis was playing, the youth and energy that they had. Obviously, Ja went down for a game. With that hand, but he came back and played 5 other games, and they just really figured out. And not only that, Jaren Jackson has turned into a great player. He had a few games where he looked like he was the best player on the court at times, sure. But they just know how to get gritty and figure out ways to win, even when they're down like 12 with 5 minutes left. You're like, man, this sucks. Like, I guess we're gonna have to wait till the next game to see if they can win. And then all of a sudden, you're just like, we're up by 3. Like, how did that happen?
Okay, so for you, it's the Suns and the Lakers. Yours is Golden State and the Lakers. So for me, biggest disappointment, Memphis. Okay, crash and burn. All right. Number 2 seed, right? I'm sorry, number 3 seed. And then not only that, no, number 2, because they played the 7th seed, which was the Lakers.
Memphis was the
number
3rd.
2.
Well,
Sacramento was 3rd. Yeah. So had all this hype. Dylan Brooks hyping him up the entire season. Crash and burn, Dylan Brooks. Trash, basura. But I just felt like they just didn't have the mental fortitude to handle all of the minutia, you know, outside of basketball, right? They just didn't have the maturity. I don't think they had
is the word.
They didn't have a veteran presence in that locker room that would kind of calm down the kids, you know, and the immatureness.
And they're all kids.
Exactly. You know, I feel like Tyus Jones is the most mature person in that team, right?
Also mad underrated, too.
Mad underrated as a point guard. But I think they're the biggest flop of the season. I don't know if they're going to be able to recover, especially with the whole Ja Morant thing that just happened today. You know, the second video that populated online. Super disappointing. Great talent, and just throwing it all away, right? But that's my number flop, and my number 1 flop team. My biggest surprise, believe it or not, hate to say it, it is the Lakers. You know, I just think that you guys are playing really well. You know, you guys are gelling really well. I really believe that you guys do have a shot of beating Denver. You know, LeBron. I was talking to Glenn about this. My brother-in-law. I was talking to Glenn about it, and I have never seen LeBron like this poised, just discomposed. You know, like he didn't let Dylan like affect him. You know, in the first round, the whole battle with Steph, like that's something that we're probably gonna miss, like them going against each other in the playoffs. But I just feel like you guys are ready. It'll be crazy to see another Lakers Celtics. And we're gonna talk about the Eastern Conference in about a minute. It'll be crazy to see another Lakers Celtic finals this year. So
yeah, I think I might have to switch my surprise.
wow.
Hey, I'm sorry, hot take.
Who's your surprise?
Miami Heat. Dude.
No, we'll talk about that Eastern Conference
Well,
later.
you asked for it. Wait, was this supposed to be for
Okay,
the West?
great.
Oh, just West. Okay.
Great segue to the Eastern
Oh,
Conference.
I'm sorry. I thought you said the whole playoffs.
No, so okay, I guess we're talking about Eastern Conference now.
Man, I've ruined this thing already.
So no. So let's talk about that. So we definitely determined our biggest flops and surprise on the West. So now let's move towards the East. Again, I'm also a Miami Heat fan. They're definitely the main surprise for me. But I want to hear from y'all who wants to. Well, you know what? You start since you already took it.
Sorry, guys. Zero patience over here. No, I mean Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler, like what they're doing right now is pretty crazy. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but they were the last in the play-in.
They also lost the first game.
And they lost the first game and then came back and stomped the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 1 overall seed in the NBA. And
Without Tyler Hero.
Without their best shooter.
Without him and Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, I mean, Victor Oladipo is Mr. Glass. I mean, he's super talented, but it's really sad because every year you just know that at some point he's going to probably get hurt. But no, Jimmy Buckets is literally like, he's that dude. Like he's probably the only other person that has that extra gear. Yeah. That he just, like he coasts, he does enough, but then when it's time to like really ramp up, there might not be another guy that's scarier to go against because he's just got that dog in him, that's true. And he, because of how fearless he is, he guards 4 out of 5 positions on the court. Yep. Which then gives Adebayo a chance just to purely play his part. His game. So when you're going up against somebody who you mentally knows they're going to turn you into their son, it takes a lot out of you because it's like no matter how great I think I can play, this dude's going to make sure that I don't even come close to it, and that's literally what he's been doing, and it's big shots. From everywhere on the court. That's just been the story of Jimmy this entire playoffs.
So who's your biggest disappointment in the East?
Biggest disappointment in the East, I think, has to be what happened today with the 76ers.
Dang, more so than Milwaukee?
Yeah, I was going to say the Bucks.
Well, hold off your thoughts. But more so than Milwaukee?
You've got Embiid, who's MVP. They got James Harden. This is supposed to be the year where, like, the entire process comes to fruition. Giannis has been struggling with injuries throughout the whole season. So, like, even though, like, this guy, and I forgot what game it was that he landed on his back bad. And, dude, when you weigh that much and you hit the court that hard, like, it doesn't feel the same way as when we do it, So, and not only that, but Chris Middleton, like, barely played this season, came back for the playoffs. So,
they're still
like,
number 1 seed, though.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, let's be honest, like, the East has never been like super exciting,
They're stacked this year. They're stacked this year.
I honestly thought that the West was more exciting than the East.
Well, Ja was fine in the West, remember?
Huh?
Ja was fine in the West, remember?
No, you're ruining the show. What are you not? But yeah, sure. Milwaukee as the number 1 seed is disappointing, but I thought that this year was going to be the year where Philly was able to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and at least put up a good fight. Embiid played great throughout the season. This series, not so much. Got his MVP, and you hate to think that was like the most important thing that happened to him this season. Like, because, dude, LeBron, like, if LeBron got the MVP this year and they went out in the first round, it would have been a failure to him. He doesn't care about that. He's already got the MVPs. I really just hope that Embiid doesn't think that the MVP was the most important thing to him this season. You know.
Okay, JP.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Biggest failure would have been Milwaukee for me, being the number 1 seed. But I actually, ironically, I wasn't shocked either because I think the Heat is just one of those other organizations that are just well run. Mm-hmm. You know,
Heat culture, baby.
Top to bottom.
Heat culture.
Yeah, the
Top
Heat
to
culture's
bottom.
culture's great.
That shit's
You
real.
got Pat Riley up
That shit's
there. Running everything with, Eric and just like that organization for a while. And they've got for a while, they've always had a pretty young team as well, too. Mm-hmm. And to be able to go that far, that tells you a lot about the leadership in the organization there. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't necessarily shocked that Milwaukee lost, but I also did have the Bucks actually being one of the contenders for the Eastern Conference Finals.
To get out of the East.
To take it in the East. After they were out, I was like, my heart more would be for Miami because they beat Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But also, just like I said, the leadership there, I think year after year, they've just improved and been pretty consistent in nature. They've never really declined. And Jimmy Butler, probably one of my favorite players as well, too, reminds me, of that the Kobe mentality and everything. Mm-hmm. I would say Devin Booker is almost along the lines of that as well, too, for me, as that type of the trigger.
The killer instinct.
Yeah, the trigger that comes in there. But Butler, by far, probably number 1 on that list.
So is that your biggest surprise team?
Yeah.
Is the Heat?
Yeah.
So you pretty much answered that question 2 for 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and the thing is like you talked earlier about Memphis and what they were lacking, which was veteran leadership.
Yeah.
And veteran leadership doesn't necessarily mean minutes on the court, but Udonis Haslem still being on the Heat bench and the amount of experience he has, like that dude talks and you listen.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Old wise man, like in that locker room, and he's not playing many minutes, but in those huddles at halftime, those locker rooms, dude, pick those gems of wisdom that he has, and you can tell just by like you were saying, the team's mentality between Haslam and Jimmy Buckets, they've turned that whole team into dogs. Like they have grit. Like you can see them like grinding their teeth while they're fucking backpedaling on defense.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's if they were to win the finals, it would not be that big of a surprise because of what they've shown throughout this playoffs.
Talking about the Heat winning the finals?
I'm saying if they did, it wouldn't be at this point of the playoffs. If you said at the beginning of the playoffs, Heat are going to win, you'd be like, go fuck yourself. That's not happening. But the way that they have handled their opponents thus far, if they ended up going and winning, you'd be like, dude, they started getting their shit together at the right time.
Yeah, just like the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
All right. For me, biggest surprise, Heat, for sure, from all the points that you guys have said. Biggest flop on the East for me, it was like not necessarily biggest flop. Okay, I'll mention Philly as the biggest flopping team, biggest disappointment because you're right. Okay. I mean, they got James for a reason. That didn't pan out that well. Tyrese was showing flashes of brilliance. Tobias not really. He became the 4th option for some reason. He wasn't really, being looked at offensively. I didn't really have a bench. Like they were saying that, what's his name, Gorgie Jan, whatever his name is, or Niang could shoot. Like he can't really shoot that well.
Maxey was balling.
Maxey just was balling, but I just didn't think their bench was that deep. Also, so biggest disappointment as a team is that biggest disappointment of a player in the East. Oh, Julius Randle. I have to say it. I have to fucking say Julius Randle was trash. I don't know why he made 2nd team All-NBA. I felt like it should have been Jalen Brunson. I just want to honorable mention biggest flop in the East as a player that did not show up for the playoffs is Julius fucking Randle.
Dude,
my God, so frustrating watching him.
He went on vacation about a month early.
Jesus Christ.
We were watching that game last week, and we're just like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, man. It's so frustrating to see. He is very, very talented, and deservingly so as an all-star. I didn't agree him being the second, being part of the All-NBA, second team at all. Like, at all. I think that was, I don't know who voted for that. But anyways, I want to know picks to come out of the West and who's going to win it, coming out of the East and who's going to win it. So who wants to start that? Jinu Park, you started. Who's coming out of the West and who's going to come out of the East and who's going to win it and in how many games?
I think Denver will take it.
And who's MVP?
I think Denver will take it.
Wow, hot take.
I think Denver in 6.
So Denver versus the Lakers in 6. Yeah. Denver goes to the finals. Yep. And on the East?
And then the East, man.
It's tough.
It's tough. I'm gonna
Miami, Boston.
I'm gonna throw out the Heat.
You're telling me
I'm gonna throw out the Heat.
Okay.
Now, here's my thing. I think Denver will take it after that. If Denver gets to go through. If it's Lakers and Heat, I think Lakers will take it.
Okay.
But my final would be Denver taking it, Jokic.
So Denver, Miami in the finals for you. In how many games? And who's winning?
Denver will win by 6.
So 6 games, Denver winning the championship this year. Jinu Park hot take. 2023 champions, Denver Nuggets. Who's your MVP?
Jokic.
Joker. Okay.
100%.
It has to be. If that's how it turns out, it has to be Jokic.
I can't wait for this.
First, I'm going to start off by saying we're lucky as hell that we have these conference finals coming up because they're about to be exciting.
It's going to be so good.
These two matchups are fucking like prime time every fucking game. Like if there was like a puppet master, this is something like they would be proud that they put together. Yeah. I'll start off by saying that. I'm going to say if the Lakers win, it's going to be in 6. If Denver wins, it's going to be in 7. Because I feel like if the Lakers go back for a game 7 to Mile High, Denver takes that. But the thing is I think Denver's going to take one of the first 2 games or the Lakers are going to take one of the first 2 games in Denver. Come home, take care of business because that's.
So you're saying Denver's going to be down 3-1 and then take it to game 7?
It's tough because obviously
that's a bold prediction. You guys hear that first.
Well, yeah, hot take.
3 wins right after that.
Well, they could win game 1. They could win game 1 in Denver and then lose game 2. Come back
and then win both games at home.
Both at home. Lose game 5 in Denver. Come back and win game 6 to win the series.
Stop.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Why should I stop?
So who's your pick coming out? Denver? Just be honest.
I'm going to go Lakers. I think that they feel great about
Lakers
themselves.
in 7?
No, I said Lakers in 6. Like I said, if Lakers win, it's going to be in 6. If they got to go back to Denver for game 7, I don't think that that's something that they're
East Coast.
They're going to be. East Coast, another amazing matchup. But I got to go with the team that is super hot right now and has just been going after their opponents like assassins, and that's the Heat. Because, dude, Boston, this 7-game series, Jason Tatum scoring 51 today, game 7 all-time record with 51 points. Shit takes a lot out of you. And Miami's had how many days of rest so far? And then their first game is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a week off. And like Jimmy was even hurt a little bit, rolling his ankle in either the last game or the second to last game of that series. So getting him back to like ship shape, dude, like.
Those 2 would be exciting, though, because you got 2 underdog teams from each side. Mm-hmm. I would love it to be that.
Yeah, and that's back to the bubble. Yeah. That was the finals in the bubble, and everybody gives like an asterisk for like the bubble championship. It's like, hey, okay, well then, let's run it. Hey, in basketball terms, let's run it back, and see when you got 30,000 fans watching you every single game and not these fucking Zoom TV screens. Let's see what happens. If that's the finals, I got to pick the Lakers. Because I think that LeBron is on a mission.
Lakers are winning today.
I mean, by the way, this show is taking place in Los Angeles for those who don't know. What LeBron is doing right now and what he's getting his teammates to do, like the fact that when he goes into the locker room after a win and they're all doing the GOAT sound, you know, like these guys.
What is a goat sound?
Bah, bah.
That's what a goat?
Yeah.
Sounds like a lamb.
I think that I think his teammates want to win this championship just as much for him as they want it for themselves.
Yeah, I can see that.
And when you've got a whole team that is rallying behind you, it's a really powerful thing, you know. And there's very little that other teams can really do against that. When you really believe in yourself and everybody else that's around you, that's powerful. So
you got Lakers and Heat.
You got Lakers and Heat, and then you got
how
Lakers.
Lakers and Heat. I'm going to do 6 and 6. I think that anything less would be disrespecting the other team.
And then MVP. I'm curious.
I mean, MVP is going to be LeBron James, and I mean, numbers show every championship he's won, he's been MVP.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
I don't see why anything else would change.
Okay, so you got Lakers. I had Nuggets, and then a Migs.
All right. So I got Denver coming out of the West.
Okay.
I got Denver coming out of the West in 6, and I have Boston coming out of the East in 5.
Wow.
That's so the only reason why I say that is because Jason Tatum showed me something the last game in Philly where he scored 16 points in the fourth, and he was 1 for 13 prior to that. And then it just shows that, again, that Mamba mentality, that killer instinct. And then there was an article that I saw today that said that he told someone, I forgot who he said, that he's going to drop 50 on Game 7. The dude dropped 51 today. So I just feel like Jaylen Brown is a good complimentary star.
Great
next
compliment.
Great complimentary star right next to Jason. You got Marcus Smart, all NBA defensive team. You got your veteran presence with Al Horford that's still making threes. That's like the Kevin Love on the other end, right? You got Malcolm Brogdon, 6th man of the year. You got Derek White. You know, I mean, you got, who's their center? Williams. You know, you got also Grant coming, you know, if he ever plays, you know, in this playoffs, but he's very capable. However, I just feel like if Tyler Hero is not coming back to add some offense, because Miami, I've seen it in some of these playoff games, they get in stints where they just can't make a bucket. And I feel like they're going to overload Jimmy and Bam. Sometimes Bam offensively is not there also. So I just feel like, and you guys know me, I love Miami Heat, but I just feel like it's going to be, I would love to see a Laker-Boston finals. I really would. But I really would. But realistically, for me, Denver's got it in 6. They just have too much firepower. And I think Boston in 5, maybe 6 against Miami. And I didn't want to say that because I'm going for the.
So who wins? Nuggets or Celtics?
So I think, oh, dude, that's tough. All right, Nuggets, Celtics. Personally, for me, I would want the Celtics to win. Personally, for me, again, I would have to throw it to the Nuggets. I think Nuggets will win in 6 or 7 games. Jokic MVP. That's my prediction. You can back that.
Well, let me ask you this. So you were talking about Tatum Game 6 going 1 for 13 and then coming
in the fourth.
Coming out in the fourth with 16 points. If that game were against the Heat and the way that the Heat plays defense and Jimmy guarding Jason Tatum, do you think that after going 1 for 13 that all of a sudden he just opens up his bag and is able to be that hero?
What I'm saying is, I think the adjustment. You're right. I think Spo will adjust based on what he's seeing. If Jason makes 2 to 3 shots in a row, I think Jimmy picks him up. However, I don't think anybody will be able to guard Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart can make shots. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not like Marcus Smart can't make any shots.
Oh,
like,
no.
You know, he's been making threes all series, right? Or all playoffs. I'm just saying, I think they also have a playoff experience with them that they're taking. They went to the finals against Golden State, right? So they have that experience in their back pocket that I think can catapult them to a different level this time around. That's why I'm picking them against Miami. Again, if Tyler Hero is playing, it would be a totally different prediction for me.
Right.
You know,
By the way, do we know anything about his return?
they're saying either late this round or possibly the finals if they get to the finals.
That doesn't sound too promising.
Yeah, it was a 6 to 8 week with that hand injury. So, but dude, this has been a great conversation, y'all. So we got
Not surprised.
the Nuggets winning for Jinu. You got the Nuggets winning for me, and you got obviously the Lakers. You know, typical Laker fan.
All three in the
It's
West.
not here. I'll be very honest. It's not even as much about love for the Lakers. It's about love for LeBron. That's for me. I've never been like the biggest Lakers fan in the world. Strange enough, I turned out to be a huge Kobe fan.
Yeah.
After
Missed the guy.
initially hating him, being a
Same.
Detroit Pistons fan.
Same.
And then the older I got, I realized I don't have to like somebody to respect somebody. So I started really respecting his greatness. And then I decided I don't have to love a team to love a player who just shows me how incredible he is. So fell in love with Kobe Bryant. And then LeBron, being in Cleveland, me being a Pistons fan, I actually got to see LeBron play in high school, which was an amazing experience. And I just always had like mad respect for, one, the pressure that was put on him more so than any other player probably in NBA history, and exceeding what everybody thought. And then he came to the Lakers, and I'm living in Los Angeles, so I'm like, well, I get to enjoy watching pretty much every game LeBron plays again. And then over time, it's just like, well, I can have an East Coast team, I can have a West Coast team, you know. So, but I want LeBron to win another championship, you know.
So do you think if he does win, do you guys think if LeBron wins this year, does he top Michael?
It's the GOAT debate.
I don't know.
Does he top Michael? That's
I
fine
don't know
for
if
LeBron.
he tops Michael,
That's fine for LeBron.
but the conversation definitely gets a lot more interesting. 5 championships, 3 different franchises, never been done before, and statistically, he's
Most points in NBA history.
most points in NBA history. He's at
And counting.
at the very least top 10 in assists, games played, like all, and let's not forget, he's doing this in his 20th season.
He's 38.
He's 38 years old and averaging 29.6 points this season. Like, it's really tough because nobody's done it for that long.
Yeah.
You know?
That's, again, hot takes today, y'all. I love it. So we got Laker championship. We got Denver championships. We'll see in about a couple weeks, right? In about 2 to 4 weeks, who's really going to win this thing. But all I know is I think this whole year, the playoffs have not been just really, really good. Yeah. Very competitive. Just really good basketball.
Yeah.
And I just love the arguments on group chats and the debates on the group chats I'm on. You know, it's been fun. It's been funny. But let's be real. I think Denver's got it this year. So
They look really fucking good, man. They do.
all right. Well, we got that out of the way. So the NBA also released their NBA 2023 awards this year. So let me run down who the winners are. Okay. So we got De'Aaron Fox as the clutch player of the year. We got Joel Embiid as the MVP. I got a lot to say about that. Jaren Jackson, defensive player of the year. Mike Brown, coach of the year, well-deserved, I think.
Very. Unanimous.
Lauri Markkanen, most improved, maybe. Some people would say others, but we could debate that. Malcolm Brogdon, sixth man of the year.
We'll talk about that.
Well-deserved.
We'll talk
No,
about
no one even close. No one even close.
That's not even true.
Paulo Banchero, rookie of the year. I don't think anyone was close.
Yeah, I don't think
Maybe
anyone.
Benedict Mathurin as the second closest. Teammate of the year. I didn't even know that this was
Yeah, I
an
didn't know
award.
that was an award.
Teammate of the year is Drew Holiday.
I think that he's won that before.
I was like, oh dang!
Yeah, I think he's a perennial teammate of the year.
That's actually kind of cool. But all right, so let's have some discussions. Does any of those players not deserving, in your opinion, of those awards? Jinu Park?
You know, when you read off the list, I was thinking, can somebody replace him? And I couldn't really put another person to replace him. I think it's pretty well thought out.
So you're saying Jokic is a solid, like, didn't deserve the MVP?
MVP? I think Joel Embiid deserves it. I think that was the prime debate for a while. Is it going to be Jokic or is it going to be
the last
Joel
3
Embiid?
years?
But I think Joel Embiid deserves it.
This year, I think he did.
Yeah, this year.
This year,
I mean,
I think he did. He didn't show up for the playoffs.
We have to take in consideration it is a regular season award. It's a regular season award, and I think that a lot of people get a bit of clouded judgment because the award is presented during the playoffs, but you have to remember that it's an 82-game award. Everything after that, unfortunately, doesn't matter. Embiid balled out, absolutely balled out, and really turned into a leader this year. He showed some grit. I feel like in seasons before, there were questions about like his determination and like his leadership. So I think that he kind of put those questions to rest. We've talked about the sixth man of the year.
Who did you have?
He averaged one more point than Malik Monk did. But think about the jump. The Celtics, for how many seasons, have been a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals, going to the conference finals, going to the finals. Sacramento hasn't been to the playoffs in 16 years.
Let me look at Malik Monk's stats real quick. Okay, keep going.
They were the 2 seed the 3 seed after not making the playoffs for 16 seasons, and then like this guy gave such important minutes to Sacramento in game because I think they were the highest scoring team in the NBA this year.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And that was and defense is great. Defense does win championships, but if you can score 130 points a game, it's really hard. What are we looking at?
No, keep going. I'm gonna.
I feel like if Malcolm Brogdon was not on the Celtics would have still been a great team and still been a top 3 seed. I think Malik Monk gave a lot of energy and a lot of valuable time on the court and points to the Kings.
Here are the stats.
Okay.
These are hard stats. Okay. Mm-hmm. Malik Monk this year played 77 games, averaged 13.5 points per game, 44.8% field goals, 35.9, which is now subpar, by the way, in league standards, in threes, 2.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 0.6 assists. I'm not saying he's not in the conversation. He's definitely in the conversation, number 2 or 3. Malcolm Brogdon, 67 games played, 14.9. You're right, it's not big of a discrepancy. Yep. 48% field goals, 44% threes, 4.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 0.7 steals.
And 10 less games.
10 less games, yes, 10 less games. However, I just feel like if you really had, because Malik had inconsistent, he literally will show up one game, had 26, 27, 28 points. The next game he'll have 1 or 2 points, sometimes 0. Right?
No,
yes. The
guy did not have a game with 0 points.
Yeah, he definitely had a game that he had like 2 or 3 points only, like for sure. What I'm saying is, I just think as far as coming off the bench, making that really 6-man impact, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I think Malcolm deserves it more so than Malik.
Well, answer this.
Just saying.
Malik Monk is not on the Kings. Where do the Kings fall in the Western Conference or in the Western Conference seeding?
I don't know. I feel like they would be the same.
Really?
They're pretty deep.
What about Malcolm Brogdon? If he wasn't on the Celtics, where would the Celtics be?
I think that answers your question. Like I think
the same. They would be in the same position.
No, I think they would not be in the same position. I think they would be on a lower seed. So having him, you see what I'm saying? That I think that's where my argument is I think he just brings in more impact than Malik. It just
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree.
It's okay. By the way, this is not an argument. This is a passionate conversation.
I know. I love
They've
it.
had this passionate conversation for weeks.
I'll talk about Drew Holiday. The fact that teammate of the year doesn't seem like a very prestigious award.
What is that, first of all?
I don't even know.
What is that judged on?
I don't know. Like, to be honest,
That's a good question,
the fact that we don't really know what the criteria is means that it's like it isn't a very prestigious award. But this dude's like one of the most underrated players in the NBA, and I would love to have him on any team that I was a fan of. And it seems like any team would love to have him as a teammate as well. You know. De'Aaron Fox, I agree with. The guy's fourth quarter efficiency was nuts this year.
Yeah, it was crazy. Right?
Mike Brown, I think first unanimous coach of the year.
Yep,
That makes sense.
16 seasons not in the playoffs, end up being the 3 seed. It's like that's big time.
That's big
That's
time.
big time.
Yeah. No, I love it. So.
By the way, shout out to Victor Solomon who redesigned all of the NBA awards. He's a friend of he's a friend of the show and of ours personally, actually.
Yeah, no, he's those new awards, like the trophies, are fire. Yeah. But all right, so let's talk about last thing we're gonna talk about, the all NBA first, second, and third team.
All right. This will be the first that I actually hear the lineup.
So first, all NBA first team. We got Giannis, Luka, Joel, obviously MVP. Shea, I think well-deserved first team, and Jason Tatum. Any one of those does not deserve to be on that list, on the first team.
Who's on the second team?
Sorry, can you repeat the first team again?
First team, Giannis, Luka, Joel, Shea, and Jason Tatum.
I think the one that I might have issue with, and this might be a bit controversial, I feel like Luka took a step back this year.
I think so too.
I think Luka took a step back.
I think so too.
For me, it's like.
So who would you replace Luka with? Who would you replace Luka with? You want to know who the second team is?
Sure.
So
I would put Joker in.
second team, Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of high. Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Yeah, second team for sure. Steph for sure. Second team. Nikola and Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell balled out for the
100%.
Cavs.
I think second team for sure.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell balled out for the Cavs. They would have been like the last seed in the playoffs, if not in the playoffs at all, without like his experience and his explosive nature. Like that dude came to Cleveland and gave them something to be excited about again.
So you think Nikola over Luka?
I do.
So you'd flip that?
Yeah.
Would you flip that, or would you?
Well, but let me ask you this: Do they go by position?
I think so.
Because
Yeah,
that's
I
the
think-
problem. Because you're not going to have two centers.
Yeah, because you got three forward centers and then two guards.
Yeah.
The guards
Yeah.
is Luka and Shea.
Yeah, then
Jason plays a three.
That stays.
Yeah, that's tough, right?
Now let me ask you this: like, did LeBron just miss too many games this year to be
I think he's third, no?
LeBron's third.
third team? Well, I think that's way too fucking low.
I don't think so
don't
because
think so.
I don't think actually maybe because I would replace him with Jaylen Brown on the second team. I would flip LeBron second team and I'll put Jaylen on the third team. Because if Julius fucking Randle is on the third team,
Yeah, that's
like that's I don't know why. I think it should be Jalen Brunson, on the third team. So third team we have De'Aaron Fox, well deserved.
Yes.
We got LeBron, Dame. That was also kind of like for me.
Who's the center in the third?
I thought Book or KD or someone else over Dame.
I would have put Book.
team.
I would have put Book over KD because of the whole like trade and.
Oh, you got Sabonis too. I think well deserved too. Sabonis on the third team.
Well, I mean, De'Aaron and
Yeah.
Sabonis
Yep.
like light the beam. That was like.
Yep, that was the and they have an identity now.
Who's the center for third team?
So I think on the first team, I think it goes back because I think it becomes positionless after that. Or no, Sabonis is the 5.
Yeah.
Sabonis the
He is
5.
center. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why I
then
thought
Julius
he was
is
power forward.
4.
Gotcha.
Dame is a 2. LeBron's 3. 1 is De'Aaron.
I mean, Dame averaged 30 points, but that team was trash.
It was,
So
yeah.
if all NBA is purely just based off of personal stats, then yeah, sure, it would be hard to not put him on. But like, I would prefer that it has to do with impact on your team and the outcome of their season. Like that team should have been so much better than it was this year.
So would you flip, going back to the original question, would you flip Jaylen Brown onto third and putting LeBron on second team?
I wouldn't. I thought LeBron didn't statistically have a good
year.
Good
this
year in the beginning until we got all those people. So
I mean,
Jaylen Brown did really well throughout the season.
I love Jaylen Brown. I do, and I think he's an amazing compliment to Jason Tatum. Yeah. And the question coming up is his up and coming contract. You know, does he deserve a supermax, or is he a complimentary player to a supermax? But the way that, dude, he has been more consistent in these playoffs than Jason Tatum has.
Yeah.
You know, he's kept the Celtics afloat during those times where Tatum was a little gun shy. But yeah, I don't. For me, it's like the Lakers don't do shit without LeBron. Like the Lakers don't make the play-in. They don't do any of it without LeBron. And wait, LeBron's averaged what?
20 for the season?
Yeah.
I have it right here. That's playoffs. But games regular season. He averaged LeBron 28.9 points per game during the regular season.
I mean, that's pretty incredible, you know.
6.8 assists also, by the way.
Which is probably low for him, but he had to be more offensive. Like he had to be more of a scorer this year.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's why I would say that I would switch Jaylen Brown and LeBron James because pretty much what he had to do for his team, and also at the age that he's doing it.
It's crazy. It's remarkable.
But I mean, they're not going to put age as a factor.
No, definitely not.
I still think Jaylen Brown deserved it for second round. And,
any thoughts on Julius Randle being part of the third team?
I mean, this goes right back to the MVP. It's a regular season award. And,
Julius Randle did pretty well.
Yeah, he had a 50-point game this season.
Yeah, Randle played really. I mean,
couple game winners.
Like the Knicks were high up there in the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and he had something to do with it in the regular season.
I'm only saying it because I like his game, and it's just so disappointing to watch him really shoot the way he shot the ball during these playoffs. I mean, I know he's hurt a little bit, but at the same time,
every player is hurt a little bit at this time of the season.
Thank you. And if you're an all-NBA caliber team, you can't be shooting 4 for 15. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing
for
is,
3 out of the 5 games.
The thing is that there are players there are great players in this league that when you're off, your team is still able to be efficient and win games. When Randle is off, he is a detriment to his team.
Oh my God!
Like if he is,
I guess that's the impact that he makes.
If he is off and he is on the court, it is bad for the Knicks because he needs the ball. Yeah. He's got handles, he's got long range, he's got short range. He's not an off the ball player. Like he needs the ball in his hand.
And he needs to create.
And if he's struggling, he still takes the shots that he would if he weren't struggling, but there's just way too many of them. You know, if you're struggling, you got to kind of switch it up a little bit and realize, I can't be taking all the shots I would if I was fucking hitting nothing but net. And for some reason, he's just, and I get it, shooter's going to shoot, but at a certain point, you got to realize it's just not going. It's not going down tonight. I got to make good passes. I got to play great defense. I got to move off the ball to get other people open. His mentality is I'm just going to shoot until the next one until it goes in. And when he is off, he's one of the players that is off. That was the entire series against the Heat.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen A. Your Knicks are not.
Right?
Maybe they're going to grow, but we'll see next season.
But also Jalen Brunson, it was his first time truly leading a team, and I think he did a great job. Phenomenal. Especially in one of the biggest markets in the NBA. The guy showed up and showed out. I think it's going to be exciting to see.
He got a good future.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what happens as he really gets used to that role.
RJ Barrett's showing some flashes, and then he'll disappear, But it's kind of crazy. But, boys, we're almost out of time. It's been, man, I mean, again, we can go on for days.
That's true.
The three of us, and I'm all more so if all of our boys were here, literally this probably, really probably would have fought, but.
This would have been a double disc.
Yeah, exactly. Double disc. Yeah. 50 tracks apiece, but It's been fun. I just love kind of getting to know the homies' perspective on basketball, especially between you guys, Laker fans. But at the same time, we'll play it out. I think the next 2 to 4 weeks of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals, it's gonna be really, really good, and I'm excited to watch it.
Only time will tell. We'll go back on this and see whose predictions.
Yeah, we'll do another one, and then we'll have you and probably someone else, and then you guys will battle it out. So.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you guys are football fans, but
of course,
NFL is gonna be exciting this season. So.
Yeah.
Go Seahawks.
Let's go
Lions.
Rams. Let's go
Lions.
baby.
Let's go Lions.
Your Lions are actually they're coming up. But we're so excited to have you here today, my guy.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Of course, dog.
I wanted to do it for a while.
Yes.
It was everything I dreamed of and more.
No, it was good. It was good. We love the passion that you brought to the show. But yeah, follow us, like it, comment, give us some feedback about what our thoughts were on the NBA teams, and in our our kind of our comments in regards to some of the players. But we're gonna do this again in the future. But for now, Jinu Park,
And we out. Doses. Go Lakes.
I hate you.
Thank you for listening to Kickspot.